Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Squatter Camp podcast. We're back with another one. A lot is happening in the MKP, man. I don't know where to start. I honestly don't know where to start, but it's very chaotic. And when we, as content creators, speak about these things, sometimes it might not sound truthful or factual because we are not talking from within. Now, I've just recently watched the interview of Alrin Simpier, Newsroom Africa, interviewing this gentleman, McDonald. And man, I can say that, many things that I've mentioned, actually, they make sense. They make sense that MKP is a very chaotic political party, is a one-man show, is a family, stokvel. Everything makes sense to me. Everything makes sense. And recently, there's two MPs who have recently been arrested, Brian Molefe and Siyabonga Kama. So, Nkambulo Ndlela is trying to downplay this and saying it's a political witch hunt. It's not a political witch hunt. Those people, they must face the full might of the law. Let's catch up on this interview. You can catch a full interview for the very first time in the longest time, watching a 15-minute interview of someone who makes sense right from the beginning until the end of the interview. In fact, McDonald should return to Newsroom Africa, be given an hour, because this man is well experienced and he's spitting the facts, and for the fact that he is speaking truth to the power, to Jacob Zuma, it encourages me to buy into his story, to say this is a legitimate guy that was fired or that was gotten rid of by the MKP crooks. Because when you are a true leader, MKP is ANC light. So when you have got values and you know how to lead and to structure everything, I think you will never last. So let's watch this and we'll talk, scholars.
The party is experiencing a wave of internal challenges, with key MPs facing arrest and explosive factional battles over leadership roles. The party has condemned the arrest of MPs Brian Molefe as well as Siyabonga Kama as a politically motivated witch hunt within Parliament. The spokesperson, Nkambulo Ndlela, denies being formally removed from the whippery team, even as letters circulate claiming otherwise, and calls grow to oust the chief whip, Colleen Makubela. These events come on the heels of the Secretary-General, Floyd Shivambu's public moves towards forming a new political party, underscoring a deeper fractures within the MK. But what is the current state of the party? And joining me now for more on this is the former MK National organizer, McDonald Mathabe. And just to be clear, that we did invite the MK party to be part of this conversation. However,
you see, the Gupta friends who were enjoying the privilege of stealing state funds and caught with their hands in the cookie jar and continue to dispute that, they must just face the full might of law, and they must keep on defending themselves until they are broke. They are literally broke. All the money that they stole or all the money that they gave to their friends. I mentioned something some time ago, that whoever associated themselves with Jacob Zuma, they've lost their careers now. They've lost their careers now, and they are out in the game, completely out. That man will get your name very, very dirty, and he will leave you there. So for Jacob Zuma to appoint Brian Molefe and Siyabonga Kama as MPs is just to compensate them, kind of. It's that moment when you feel pity for someone that you have destroyed, and you want to compensate. You want to reimburse them by giving them positions of MPs. Remember, the list was scrapped, was too many lists in the MKP for the MPs. So you can see that this is a very chaotic party. It reminds me of the ANC when Jacob Zuma was still president. cabinet reshuffling. The next morning, we have a new finance minister, the Malusi Gigabas, the Des Van Rooyens, and all of this. So, is this the party that should be leading the country? I don't know, Squatters. Let's continue watching this.
The Chief Whip, Colleen Makuela, and Dr. John Klope. But, McDonald, we have you in studio. Of course, are you still a member of the MK Party? What's the status now?
I've left MK Party.
So you've left the MK Party completely.
Yes.
Okay. What's your assessment around what is currently playing out in the party, considering the warnings that you had given even before you had resigned?
An organization that does not have elected structures, people given a responsibility for a certain time, by the membership, you'll always find these kind of problems. There is no way that you can run an organization like MK Party, just from the top by a few people. President Zuma is the alpha and the omega. President Zuma cannot take decisions for every corner of this country. He cannot take decisions for people sitting in Migdol, in Northwest. He cannot do the same for people sitting in all days in Limpopo. What needs to happen is that the organization needs to have branches, people elected from the branches, from the regions, from the provinces, and then a national elective conference. All of those things combined together, they bring order to an organization. So right now, it's everybody doing whatever they want, and that is unorganizational.
Well, it is clear that Colleen Makuela, the chief whip of the MKP, and the deputy president of the MKP, Dr. Klope, they are on their way out. I've said it, and I'm still repeating, without any shadow of doubt, because the untouchables of the political party, MKP, they are actually chasing these two, because these two, they are a threat. But look at the technicalities of this. These two people, Duduzile Zuma and Nhlamulo Ndlela, might have been given a mandate by the president himself. That one, I promise you, there's no chaos that can start out of the blues without Ubaba knowing. He knows. He knows. And that is Jacob Zuma's leadership, that he likes chaos, man. He likes drama. He likes, people are saying he's got charisma, but at the same time, he's a very dramatic someone. You can never run a political party without having an elective conference so that you're electing leadership, the structures, provincial, the branches and everything, until you cannot take a decision. One-man show for the whole party, 9 provinces, for the whole South Africa. Somehow, the MKP will be overburdened. And those decisions are taken by an 80-year-old man, and not giving young people who are innovative, who are energetic, time to take over and push this thing. And people who are surrounding Jacob Zuma are just misleading him. So they need to have what we call an elective conference. You cannot parachute leaders into senior positions and expect everything will be smooth. That is why Duduzile Zuma fought Floyd, with who's that? The Mpumalanga, the shadow Mpumalanga convener, Busisiwe Mkhwebane. So that's where you're gonna experience a lot of issues. So MKP should just shape up. This interview caught my eye, and I paid attention, and I watched this man. I watched the game. It makes sense
that the president of the MK party would almost be the supreme leader of the party, meaning that he takes all of the decisions, including, for instance, the decisions relating to deployment to national office.
I guess we are Altrin. First, the President Zuma, I refer to him as President Zuma because he was president of the ANC and president of the country. He is not president of MK Party. MK Party has not gone to a national elective conference and elect a president. So he is merely a party administrative leader linking MK Party to the IEC. Until MK Party goes to National Elective Conference, then MK Party will have its first elected
Well, maybe you'd say
president.
that he's an interim president. I don't know. I think those are a bit semantics. But I want to speak about like the powers of the president, or the powers of whoever is right at the helm of the MK Party.
So literally, it's a fact. We know that according to, the constitution of political parties, and, it should be that there should be an elective conference where they are literally going to elect a president of the party. And they are betting with Zuma, Jacob Zuma. Okay, fine, but he's not elected. He's actually an interim president until they have an elective conference, just like the EFF and other political parties. Although in the EFF you get to be told who you must vote for. Julius Malema is the one, so you don't vote. It must just be unopposed and all of this. So until such time when the MKP has got an elective conference, I think they are going to encounter quite a lot of problems, leadership problems, and it's going to be chaotic. And that's why Julius Malema and also McDonald mentioned that MKP has become a white horse in parliament, although they have got more MPs than the EFF. The EFF still continues to dominate in parliament. Let's continue watching.
Refused. And you now have this situation where the ANC is now in a GNU with unfavorable characters into that. Now, the hatred of President Zuma, of President Cyril Ramaphosa, is poisonous. It's so bad that it has become personal. It has become childish. And that these are some of the things that myself, as the national organizer at that time, alongside with Tandukolo Gobashev Joto, the Secretary General of MKP at that time, we were cautioning him on those matters, and he did not take kindly onto that. Because we need to be honest and to say the matters that are here at hand, they are bigger than President Zuma's personal hatred over President Zuma, over President Cyril Ramaphosa. Yeah. We must put the country and its people first.
I agree. In politics, if you use your emotions, you are not going to get it right. So what needs to happen is Jacob Zuma should put aside his personal vendetta or personal hatred towards Cyril Ramaphosa. These two leaders, they have to come together. And for the sake of the country, because if Jacob Zuma does not change his political position about the ANC of Ramaphosa, and then we are going to encounter quite a lot of issues, especially for the MKP side, because they are not going to progress, because one man is still angry at another man because they used Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, they lost. They used Dr. Digital Vibes, they lost. Maybe that thing still holds him, that he has got a very, very bad, I don't know, kind of hatred towards Cyril Ramaphosa. And so they need to fix this. Politics is not about emotions. It's a very dirty game, but you should not take it too personal. So, despite all this chaos, two members are about to exit the MKP. We've got Brian Molefe also and Siyabonga Gama. They are not going to last. They are going to be pushed out because they can say, oh, you've got corruption cases that are hanging on your shoulders, so you can at least excuse the MP positions for now until you are sorted. That's how easy it could be for them to be relieved or to be removed completely. So, Brian Molefe, you can study as much as you want and have masters in law and everything, but Jacob Zuma has actually crippled your career, and it's very sad, man. The likes of Busisiwe Mkhwebane, Jacob Zuma crippled their careers. These people should have continued with their careers and leave politics out. You know, politics is not for the faint-hearted. And people who are excelling in politics are the ones who have got nothing to lose. But those who have got everything to lose, most of the time they take the deepest pain. And it's so sad, man, because whatever you do in politics, you need to calculate your move. So this is the man who was within the party. He's speaking from the experience. And these people were sidelined for that particular reason, that when you raise issues within the party, and you can see his posture even now, McDonald, he still respects President Jacob Zuma. He's not like Floyd calling it whatever, but he's spitting facts. He's not like other members whom we have seen that they started now to attack Jacob Zuma and all of that. So it is so sad, man, because this chaos, it doesn't look like they're going to end anytime soon, because there's internal squabbles before they could even get a mandate to deliver on the mandate of the people. The people voted for the MKP so that they can deliver on the mandate. How do you vote for a party without a constituency that you don't even know, a stranger? It's like borrowing a stranger some money and say they're going to pay you back. I don't know. So sad.
This point, Maibuye.
Yes.
What's your take on Maibuye?
What is Maibuye? They say it's a consultative what, and all of this, but the real fact is that it's already a political party. So Floyd is continuing to lie to South Africans.
Okay.
Yes. Maibuye, I want to make this to Floyd. Floyd found uthole MK ivuta ishisa, standing on its own. He did not campaign for MK party. And he must not claim victories of other people. And he came with nothing to MK party. And Jongoba ehamba, he has no sentiments. He has no respect. That utata insizwe zasekhaya azibekele to the public. That is why Tina noma sasihamba ngoba we were part and parcel of the formation of MK party. Bekungeke sisiphathiso okwengane.
If Floyd is not careful, he will become a fraud, you know, to the people, to the very same people that he's trying to convince that Maibuye and all of that. So if he's not really careful about what he's doing, he's not really calculating his moves, he might end up looking like a fool to the people, because we all know that Maibuye is a political party. And I can tell you now that when Floyd went to Bushiri, he was there to ask for the blessings for the Maibuye. He was already in trouble, this man. He was already in trouble. And unfortunately, we didn't detect that, but he was already in trouble, and he went to Prophet Bushiri to ask for the blessings. And he got those blessings according to him. I don't know if he ever got those blessings, because he's not having any kind of charisma. He's not going to dominate the political space. He's just more of a political strategist, not someone who's got a charisma like Julius Malema, Jacob Zuma. I've mentioned that before. So Floyd got himself in trouble, and it's a political trouble. It's a political suicide in any case, because whatever that is going to do will just fail. Will just fail because he does not have the charisma to pull the crowd. How are you going to? You can have sponsors, you can have people who are giving you a lot of money and all of that. How are you going to attract the votes so that people are convinced that what you're bringing to the table is realistical, that you can put that in practice to say. And by the way, it's more like politics these days. It's more like a job interview. You can have a master's degree and maybe there's 5 other people whom are applying for the same job and they've got the same qualification. The question is, what is it that makes you different from all those other people? What is it that's just outstanding with you that can attract people to say, we can vote for this man? This is what we've been waiting for. So Floyd is bound to fail, and he has already announced his political party, because announcing the structures and everything, it's already a political party. But I feel shame and pity for the people who agreed to be used by Floyd for his own personal agendas, because he's bound to fail, and all those people are going to fail. And it's an effort. It's a money wasted. You are investing in a pit hole that will just drain your finances. Whoever is going to finance the Maibuye political party, because it's a political party now, they should be willing to lose millions without any shadow of a doubt. This person will lose millions because sorry, you are investing in something that will never have returns. You know, it's a move that's not really calculated, and it's pity because it's gonna put them in a pit hole. It's gonna, they are all going to fail, you know, in this whole thing. And I don't know whether he will go back to the EFF. I don't think so, because he has already caused more damage to his friend Julius Malema. He has called him a gangster and all of that, and he will never go back to MKP because he has publicly disowned them, saying it's a political, it's a family stock fail and whatsoever. So the chances that he stands now is either to continue with this political party that has got the least chances of succeeding, or leave politics and go and rest and do other things, maybe venture into business or whatsoever, because it's very, very cold out there. Politics is not for the faint-hearted, and I feel pity for Floyd, man. So I don't know, squatters, but this is so sad when we see the MKP shooting itself on the foot because of fighting for power, and there's too many centers of power, and there are people who are untouchables, people who continue to cause chaos within that political party without any kind of accountability. So it's more like it's a joke. It's a joke. And the people who voted for the MKP should really, really be ashamed. You know, should really, really be regretting that they voted for something that they didn't really understand, and they never anticipated that this is how everything is going to roll out. So it's so sad, man. It's so sad. And that's a one-man show. It's a family legacy. I don't know, squatters. Maybe we'll have a different perspective. But this is where we are. Thank you to the people who watch my content. Those who have not subscribed, please subscribe. Let's grow this channel. We'll keep dropping content. We'll keep giving our own analysis. Independently so. Uncensored. Impartial. Thank you. I sign off. Shalom.